So the most important words in the English language pertaining to common law, pertaining to anything, and pertaining to law in the legal system are the 2 letters and 3 letters and 4-letter words like in, at, on, for, up, on, things having to do with location. And I made for an example, I've got a coffee cup in front of me, and I know that the coffee is in the cup. Now, if I am in the United States as the coffee is in my cup, that means I'm surrounded on the bottom, the top, and the sides and everything, and I'm contained, all right? It means I'm contained, all right? And now, I don't feel contained. I'm a free man, so I don't think that I'm in anything except my body. I mean, I'm willing to accept the fact that God put my spirit and my mind in my body, and I'm stuck there, so I'll accept that one for being in something. But besides being in my body, I don't think I've ever been in anything except trouble. That's a joke. Anyway, so I started thinking about all these usages of these words. If you are on something and it doesn't belong to you, you are committing trespass. You're stepping on somebody's foot. If you are in something, you are subject to whoever is the owner of the thing that you're in. If you are at something, you are simply saying that you're near to it, close to it, but not trespassing upon it. Okay? If you are saying you're upon something, it implies that you have taken an aggressive approach to not just be on, but up on. And you're actually in a form of attack. So when you start thinking about all of these words which specify the localization of you, however you define yourself, as a man, as a piece of flesh, as a spirit, whatever it is, when you start thinking about these little bitty words in the course of a sentence, and you give them really important weight. You start writing things differently. You start thinking differently because you realize that those words really imply much more than you might imagine. Okay? And I know that it sounds esoteric, but, in terms of linguistics and in terms of function, I believe that it is very, very important. Now, if somebody can say that it's not important, that's fine too. I don't care, but I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to express myself more accurately, and that's what I came up with. So I hope that that's useful.
Yeah, you did real good. I'm just writing on a board that when I do all my one-page stuff, I go around with you at quite length just to get a couple of words tight. Because if you could just say everything in a sentence or two, that keeps them from being able to move you out of your jurisdiction, out of your control. So,
right. And the other thing that we talk about, that's important for everybody to think about is whenever there are 2 or more words involved in the description of a thing, you have to remember that the last word is the actual thing, and the words that precede it are the modifiers. So if I say a jury trial, I'm talking about a trial modified by a jury. If I say a trial by jury, I'm talking about a jury event modified by a trial. All right? The last word is the critical word. So you have to always keep that in mind. If you want to say the United States, the most important word is states. And then it's United.
Greg, I unblocked Mr. Free 1776 in South Nevada, so if you folks want to jump in and ask Greg a question, feel free to do so. Or anybody else who wants to ask Greg, because if you have a question on how you should structure a sentence or how you should structure a cover, your caption. This is an ask. So if you don't have a question, like I love common law and I love simple stuff, but this man loves messing around with research in words and their meanings. So if anybody's got a question, man, feel glad to do it. And Mr. Porterman Jeff, I said, if you email me right now, I'll give you my phone number and I'll patch you through my cell phone to this call so everybody could hear you asking me to call. So yeah, Greg, is there anything else that you and I talk about that you think is valuable to these people? But you got a lot of people listening here.
One of the things that you mentioned earlier that should never, it really, in my opinion, it needs to be reiterated. And that is, when you are stating actually there's two things. Number one, I'll do it short and fast. There is, usually when some action happens against you, they have made a complaint in a statutory process, an administrative hearing. They took you to the Walmart Department of Human Resources to complain about you. All right? And you're not part of Walmart, but that's where they took you. So what you're going to do is turn around and file a claim in common law saying, why are you dragging me in front of the judge at Walmart when I've got nothing to do with that? And that is not a counterclaim. People keep calling it counterclaims. It's not a counterclaim. A counterclaim is a statutory process that puts you back in the defendant role. You're just a defendant with an asterisk instead of just a defendant. You've got to file your own initial claim, and it's not a counterclaim. You also may never, ever, 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 and did I say ever, be a plaintiff. A plaintiff is a term of art. If you are a plaintiff, that means you are in their jurisdiction. You can only be a man. You can only be wrong. You can be an aggrieved party. You can be Ronald McDonald, but you can't be a plaintiff. If you accept the title of plaintiff, you've already lost the case. Period. 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 Next important thing. You may never appear pro se. Pro se is a term of art in the legal system which gives you a day license to be an attorney. It is to allow you to represent yourself as an attorney in their court and conforming to all their rules. The entire code of federal regulations and state regulations and local regulations, you are swearing as a pro se that you will abide by them and that you know them. And if you accept the title of pro se, you are saying, I am an attorney for the day. And I am a one-day bar card carrying son of a buck. And if you do that, you're toast. You can never be pro se. You can never be a plaintiff. Can I repeat that again? You can never be pro se. You can never be a plaintiff. If there's any paperwork that's generated in the court that lists you as pro se or plaintiff, you immediately file paperwork against the court saying, I never claimed to be those things. Who's calling me names? My mother never called me that. I'm not going to let you call me that either. There you go. Now, with all that done, going back to the claim and counterclaim, one must file their own initial claim. They may never be a counterclaimant. If you file a counterclaim, you once again fall into the statutory regulations, and you're just playing ping pong with the guy who served the first volley. What you're trying to do is not even acknowledge the fact that the guy started the game of ping pong. Okay? You heard about it. You're pissed about it because you don't play ping pong, you play tennis. And so what you're going to do is you're going to move the entire action off the ping pong table onto the tennis court. In other words, out of statutory law into common law. And you're going to move it there, you're going to you're going to keep it there, and you are going to resist every temptation and every bribe and every threat from everybody who's in the entire system and insist on that. And then when they continue to insist on that and threaten you, you're going to offer them the opportunity to pay you a lot of money if they want to continue with their game. Okay? You're going to say, or else. Okay? The other important thing that we always talk about is or else. All right? And everybody writes all this fantastic paperwork. Nobody puts in or else. Okay? You need when. You have to do this. Where you have to do this. And if you don't do this, what it's going to cost you. All right? And you are the man. You are the creator of government. You are the creator of everything. And the government cannot administer its creator. So, you just say, the king showed up. Sorry for the inconvenience, but get this damn flea off my ass.